Number one, you have to have an ear. You either have it or you don't, I think. It would be impossible to teach somebody that couldn't hear the difference between notes. You have to have a lot of patience. Sound has to be your friend if you want to be a piano tuner. So in the middle, you're blocking out the two outside strings of each note for about 13, 14 notes. So that you put this strip in there. Now you're just hearing the center string of each note, and you're aligning each one of those usually by combinations of using fourths, fifths, thirds, sixths, and an octave, and getting that all aligned. My name is Steve Drasche. I am a piano tuner technician. I grew up one block off of Steinway Street, 41st Street. And my grandfather lived there, and my father was raised there. My great-grandfather was the first person to work for Steinway in the Drasche family, and that was in the 1890s, I believe. Two of his sons, George Drasche and Fred Drasche, ended up working for Steinway their whole lives. They were there, each one of them was there for more than 50 years. And my father worked in, he was a tone regulator, and I also had an uncle who worked there, Floyd Livermore, and my father's cousins. They were the superintendents, so, I could get away with the murder there. In the first summer, I think I worked in the cross-cut department, which is where they cut the wood. I was mostly just helping out, sweeping floors and helping guys stack lumber and things like that. The next summer was even more fun because when I was 16, I ended up being in the polishing department. I learned how to polish keys and install the Steinway & Sons stencil. At the beginning of '73, I started working for them full-time. And then in '75, I actually started learning how to tune. I kind of lived in the basement, had my own little space down there, and he used to come down the stairs and wake me up about a half an hour before we were ready to go, and I'd jump in the shower, I'd get dressed, and we'd drive up to Steinway together. I got very, very close to him working with him, and I got to see a different part of him because as my father, he was one person. As Walter Drasche in Steinway & Sons, he was a different person. I got to see how he interacted with other people. And my father really loved the Steinways. A lot of people I worked there really respected and admired the Steinway family and wanted to work for them. I think it's kind of at the tail end of the really long family heritage going through. Maybe some guys are bringing their sons now, but their fathers weren't there. It's just, I think that's kind of died out. It used to be very prevalent. There were times where Steinway was a great place to work. There were times where it was a terrible place to work. It really has a lot to do with the environment and what's going on in the economy at the time. It also depends on who's running the shop. The last 2 years has not been easy on them. So it's hit a lot of people hard. I wouldn't want to be working there right now because I would be afraid that I would lose my job, and I would be afraid that I could have no say in what was going on. And these are reasons why I left ultimately too. But there's always got to be an acoustic piano market, and a fine acoustic piano market at that. A great piano there's nothing like it. You'll never duplicate or sample the sound of a beautiful Steinway or other great piano. You'll never get the vibrations coming through the air. If that dies, you lose all the future Chopins and Brahmses and Horowitzes and Rubinsteins, and that would be a very, very bad thing to happen.